Hello everyone, welcome at my demo using Terraform to configure NSX-T segments and IP pools. So let me start with sharing why I'm doing this. So I'm using my lab a lot to test NSX-T for different customer use cases. And to do so, I have to automate the deployment of NSX-T and the configuration of NSX-T as much as possible. So I'm using Ansible to deploy NSX-T components like my NSX Manager, create an overlay and VLAN transport zones and such. But I like to use Terraform basically to deploy components in NSX-T I need for my lab. And this demo is about using, basically configuring NSX-T segments and IP pools or NSX-T fabric to get started with my lab. So once I have my NSX Manager deployed, I want 3 tab IP pools for my different Geneve transport VLANs. In my case, VLAN 12, 100, and 200. And I want a number of segments, including 2 trunk segments for connectivity with my edge nodes and connectivity with my transport nodes, my vSphere host, if they are being migrated to an NVDS. So in my case, VLAN 11 is being used for my VM kernel interfaces on my host. And I'm using VLAN 12, 100, and 200 for transport networks for NSX-T, where VLAN 12 is my main Geneve transport network for my hosts. And I'm using VLAN segment VLAN 307 for connecting my edge node management interface. And I'm testing a lot collapsed compute edge clusters or management edge clusters, but in the case of compute edge clusters, I need to have trunk segments to connect to my DPDK interfaces of my edge nodes. So basically, this Terraform demo is intended to show you how I get these basic building blocks to get me quicker started with actually deploying edge nodes without having to manually create this stuff. So first of all, you can find on the GitHub, you can find the Terraform provider, which is currently being maintained with by VMware and Terraform. And this one is, I'm using the Terraform NSX-T Provider, which supports Policy UI. It's currently being developed as we speak. It's not yet supported as such, but you can obviously use it and contribute it, and also if you find issues, file them. So I will share in the link on the YouTube video where you can find the Terraform provider. And I want to show you that in NSX, I have a few things prepared. So I've added a compute manager. I added a edge cluster, and that's basically it. Yeah, and I added a license, obviously, which is required to get started. But from that point on, I want to use Terraform to deploy stuff as much as I can. So if we go to networking segments, you'll see I have no segments yet created, it's totally empty, and also no IP address pools there. So using a bit of a Terraform, I can quickly create those objects. So this is my current variables file. So, which you should include your NSX Manager details, things like username and passwords. And on the right, I'm using the main Terraform file where I start with some data sources we need for reference. So that's the overlay transport zone, VLAN transport zone, and edge clusters, for example. And then making sure we can log into the NSX-T Manager, so specifying credentials. And then we create a number of IP pools. So the first example is one for VLAN 12, the display name, and each resource for an IP pool is including a sitter, so the network, a gateway for that network, and a start and end IP address. And similar constructs for VLAN 100, which is here, and VLAN 200. And then I create a number of segments. So basically all the VLANs I specified before. So each of them has a display name, a description, and a VLAN ID. And for the special ones, this is the trunk segment. I specify an array of VLANs. So in this case, 100, 101, 102, and 200. So 100 and 200 are being used by my edge nodes to put the tunnel endpoint interfaces in, and VLAN 101, 102 are being used for doing the north-south traffic, so basically BGP peering towards my top of rack. Obviously, when I create uplink interfaces on a tier 0, I need to place them in this 101 or 102 VLANs. And a similar approach for trunk B, and last but not least, the management VLAN. So once that's done correctly, I organize my Terraform files by folders, and in this folder, I have the files and I have the Terraform provider compiled and copied. And yeah, you should always do Terraform validate. Validate to check your configuration is valid. And then you can do Terraform apply to apply your configured state, your desired state of configuration. Review the changes, so that looks good. Enter yes. And then it creates all those things. And very quickly, as you can see. So this is much quicker than deploying stuff by hand. And let's see if we can find the objects in NSX-T. So let's go to segments. As you can see, they are created. The trunk looks good. I do see my VLANs I'm needing in the trunk. That looks good. And on the IP address pools, I now have 3 TAP IP pools with the right subnets configured. Very easy. Once you get the hang of it, this is very cool and very quick to create objects you need. So basically now I have the besides uplink profiles, I right now have everything I need to deploy edge nodes and prepare transport nodes for NSX-T. This concludes the demo. Stay tuned because I also will share a demo where I create a active standby tier 0 using Terraform, and also in that code, while doing so, adding a tier 1 and adding all kinds of segments, security groups, and that stuff to that environment to quickly test an active and standby topology. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.